So on behalf of Mr. Nash, a few concerns that he has really are about the road in question. According to Ben Warren, it will take a minimum of 200 loads of dirt to build up the Bradford Road at a cost of $200 per load. The dirt itself will total over $40,000, and then the labor to spread it will be an additional $30,000. So that's a combined cost of $70,000 to the county's taxpayers. The amount does not include the expense of installing pipes for the driveways, the entrance from Old Valdosta Highway. In addition, there'll be further charges for widening Bradford Road to allow heavy farming equipment for safe and clear passage. I do have some pictures I'll share with you in just a moment. Excuse me. It's important to recognize there are many factors to consider when placing a subdivision in the middle of a farming community. The overall cost could end up being very expensive for taxpayers of Berrien County. I did a comparison on adding in the pipes and things like that to account for all of the water that's flowing currently onto their property. On a minimal dirt road, it's $30,000 to $80,000. On a moderate, you're looking at $80,000 to $150,000. And on a heavy, you're looking at $150,000 to $250,000 on top of what Ben Warren already quoted. So we wanted to point out that with that being said, the $45,000 in additional tax money that's gonna come from these new residents, you're not gonna recoup that for 3 to 5 years with the money that the taxpayers are gonna have to put out just in order to start the subdivision and get it in place. The other thing that Mr. Nash wanted me to bring to everybody's attention are the wells in the rural areas. You know, Mr. Nash has a well. The biggest thing is, as I mentioned before, we sit on an aquifer, and depletion is a big deal. When multiple homes are added, the aquifer will be unable to recharge as quickly enough, leading the wells to go dry, especially during the summer during drought time. Seasonal and agriculture competition in rural areas, wells may compete with agriculture irrigation systems, which can pull thousands of gallons a day. The Nash has provided me with some information. They pull 600 gallons a minute during their during their peak farming seasons. And that is enough for these wells to go dry. The shallow wells in subdivisions are more vulnerable because of the fertilizers, the septic systems, that's a whole nother issue, the surface runoff. If the groundwater level drops, these wells are gonna draw in the sediment, the iron, the bacteria contaminations, and there's gonna be long-term community costs. There are some examples online, I did not pull the website, from where the county has actually been held liable and the taxpayers had to pay to re-drill these wells in some types of these communities. And that cost is about $8,000 to $15,000. There is a direction online through the EPD that says that you need to ask your planning commission these questions. Well test and step drawdowns, 24 and 7 2-hour pumping test, analytical, numerical drawdown models, that all of these things should be done prior to putting in a well in this type of land. Finally, I just want to say from the bottom of my heart, current taxpayers should have the decision about what's happening in their backyards. The developer claims the subdivision would generate $40,000 a year in new property tax revenue. However, there's 3 neighbors that generate more than $40,000 in property tax right now in this room. What about them? What does that mean? Without adding any new costs or infrastructure or burdens to this community or taxpayers. When weighing the decision, it's important to consider not only the potential revenue, but also the significant expense and risk shifted to taxpayers if this project moves forward. Not to mention our water aquifer And are we gonna end up in the same situation that other counties are ending up right now, where they're having water issues? That's not what we want to happen. I appreciate your time today, everybody.